Geno Auriemma, the face of dominance in women's basketball, has had enough. His legendary UConn program, once untouchable, is now facing a crisis unlike anything it's ever seen. After decades of championships and sellout crowds, Geno looked out at the stands and saw something shocking. Empty seats, rows upon rows of them. His words cut through the silence like a knife. He called his team immature. He questioned their effort. But deep down, his frustration wasn't just about basketball. It was about relevance, image, and the fading aura of a dynasty once untouchable. The king was watching his empire crumble. This isn't a small story about one game. This is about identity. UConn women's basketball used to be the gold standard, the program that drew thousands no matter where they played. Yet here we are, with Geno Auriemma raging as only 135 fans show up to watch Paige Bueckers, the supposed heir to the throne, lead the number 11 team in the country. Think about that. One of the best programs in history, reduced to a gathering smaller than a local high school scrimmage. The humiliation wasn't hidden. It was public, visible, undeniable, and unforgettable. 135 people. That's not just a low number. That's catastrophic. Imagine being Paige Bueckers, one of the most hyped recruits of her generation, walking onto the court expecting to feel the roar of a crowd, and instead hearing an echo. Every squeak of a sneaker was louder than the applause. Every substitution sounded like a whisper in a cavern. Geno's anger wasn't misplaced. It was born from fear. Fear that UConn, the dynasty of dynasties, was becoming irrelevant in the modern women's game. A program once adored had been reduced to drawing shadows. And it didn't stop there. In the Bahamas, UConn played another game, this time in front of a slightly better, but still pitiful 567 fans. This wasn't just a blip, this was a pattern. Meanwhile, across the nation, other programs are feeling similar struggles. USC, in a 10,000-seat arena, pulled in just 3,000. But when you compare these numbers to what Caitlin Clark is doing at Iowa, the contrast becomes earth-shattering. Clark walks into any arena, anywhere, and the place explodes. UConn walks into paradise, and it feels like a ghost town. The difference is staggering. Geno has been here before, the center of attention, the leader of an empire. He's seen Maya Moore, Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, Breanna Stewart, legends who transcended the game. But even he admits this feels different. Paige Bueckers, for all her brilliance, isn't sparking the same wildfire. The coach's frustration isn't just about execution or effort anymore. It's about a disconnect. UConn has talent, but talent without magnetism isn't enough. And Geno knows it. He's fighting not just for wins, but for relevance in a sport being transformed by a single superstar named Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is not just a player. She's a cultural event. She's a once-in-a-generation phenomenon whose presence alone changes everything. Tickets sell out in hours. Arenas overflow. Clips of her logo threes rack up millions of views overnight. She doesn't just play basketball. She rewrites the spectacle of it. And here's the painful truth for Geno and UConn. Paige Bueckers, as extraordinary as she is, hasn't been able to create that same effect. The world shows up for Caitlin. For Paige, the seats stay empty. It's not about skill, it's about electricity, and Clark is all of it. The numbers prove it. Clark can play in Iowa, in Las Vegas, in New York, and the crowds will come. Analysts even joke that if she played in Ireland, fans would sell out an arena in 10 minutes. If she played in London's O2 Arena, 20,000 would line up across Europe to watch. Paige Bueckers went to Bahamas and barely cracked 500. That's the Gulf. That's the canyon. And it isn't about basketball alone. It's about charisma, storytelling, and presence. Clark is a magnet. Paige, for now, is a player. That's the painful, unavoidable reality. What makes Clark unstoppable isn't just her scoring. It's her edge, her fire, her ability to command the spotlight. She argues calls, drains impossible shots, and then smirks like she already knew it would happen. That kind of confidence isn't just entertainment. It's addictive. It makes fans tune in, and it makes haters watch just to see her fail. Paige's game is polished, elegant, intelligent, but it's not viral. She doesn't ignite timelines with every move. She doesn't generate memes, debates, and trending hashtags. Clark is chaos and fire. Paige is structure and calm. and fans choose fire. But with fire comes backlash, and Caitlin Clark has it in waves. Critics say she whines to referees, that she gets too much media attention, that she's overrated. Even WNBA players have voiced resentment, calling her hype disrespectful to veterans who've built the league. And yet, all of that criticism only fuels her aura. Every complaint creates more conversation, more clicks, more spotlight. Clark's fans fight back, defending her with an almost cult-like loyalty. Paige Bueckers doesn't have that. She's respected, admired, but not defended with the same ferocity. Clark inspires loyalty and hate. Paige inspires applause. This is where the deeper question emerges. Is women's basketball about skill alone, or is it about personality, narrative, and cultural relevance? Paige Bueckers is elite. Her court vision, passing accuracy, and leadership are undeniable. But the sport isn't responding to excellence anymore. It's responding to spectacle. Geno Auriemma's frustration comes from knowing his star has a game, but not yet the storyline. Clark has both, and the results are seismic. The attention gap isn't just about who's better on the court. It's about who can command the world's imagination. Clark owns that space. Paige doesn't. For UConn, the stakes couldn't be higher. Their brand has always been built on dominance. They weren't just good, they were untouchable. Their crowds reflected that. Now, even with a player as gifted as Paige, the stands are half empty. Geno sees the writing on the wall. Without a magnetic star, UConn risks fading into the background of the sport that's rapidly evolving. Every empty seat is a reminder that this isn't the program it once was. Every low turnout feels like an indictment of the brand. And for Geno, that's unacceptable. His dynasty is under siege, and the critics are circling. They're asking tough questions. If Paige Bueckers can't draw fans now, what happens when she enters the WNBA? Can her body even hold up to the physical demands after a devastating knee injury that already sidelined her for an entire season? Can her quieter, more methodical game survive in a league filled with power, speed, and aggression? Her brilliance is obvious, but so are her vulnerabilities. Geno can shield her for now, but the moment she turns pro, the world will see her unfiltered, and critics will be ready to pounce. The comparisons to Clark will never stop. Clark's every game is a headline. Every move is dissected, debated, celebrated, or despised. Paige doesn't generate the same frenzy, and that difference could define their futures. Clark is walking into the WNBA as a ready-made icon, someone who already has the world's attention. Paige risks walking in as just another player, her greatness overshadowed by Clark's shadow. The game isn't always fair, but the spotlight isn't either. Geno's fury isn't just about his team, it's about his star. He knows Paige must prove she's more than Clark's foil. When you look back at UConn's history, it's a story of transcendent players. Diana Taurasi, Maya Moore, Breanna Stewart. Women who didn't just win, they defined eras. Paige was supposed to be next. The crown jewel, the player who would carry the torch. But with empty arenas and Clark dominating the headlines, that narrative feels fragile. Geno knows the importance of storytelling in sports. He's seen it, he's coached it, and now he sees it slipping away. The Paige Bueckers era was supposed to be legendary. Instead, it risks being remembered as a dynasty's decline. And yet, there's still hope. Paige has shown flashes of brilliance, her vision, her passing, her ability to take over games when needed. But she needs more than flashes. She needs moments. Viral, unforgettable, must-watch moments. Geno can coach XS and OS, but he can't manufacture charisma. That has to come from Paige herself. The challenge for her is clear. Step out of Caitlin Clark's shadow, or risk being remembered as a what-if. Every game she plays this season is more than just a competition. It's a test. Can she command attention, or will silence follow? Fans remember the UConn versus Iowa showdown. Paige versus Caitlin. The matchup drew 14 million viewers, a television number on par with primetime network sitcoms. That proves the interest is there when Paige is paired with Clark. But when she's alone, the spotlight dims. And that is the harshest truth of all. Paige Bueckers is one of the best, but her star doesn't burn bright enough by itself. Not yet. And as long as Caitlin Clark continues to dominate the cultural conversation, Paige will be forced to fight for every ounce of attention she receives. The irony is brutal. Paige's style is beloved by purists. Her fundamentals, her intelligence, her efficiency. Coaches love it. Analysts respect it. Teammates thrive with it. But casual fans? They don't flock to arenas for efficiency. They flock for fireworks. They want logo threes. They want swagger. They want Clark. Paige is everything a basketball purist could dream of, but she lacks the spark that captures the wider audience. And in today's game, purism isn't enough. The spectacle matters. The storyline matters. And until Paige finds hers, the empty seats will keep haunting UConn. Geno Auriemma, for all his brilliance, can't hide his fear. He knows this isn't just about one season. It's about the future of his program. If UConn fades, if Paige doesn't seize her moment, what does that mean for recruiting? For sponsorships? For television deals? The ripple effects are massive. Geno has built his legacy on being untouchable. But women's basketball is changing. It's not just about dominance anymore. It's about who can capture the imagination. And for the first time in decades, Geno's program is on the outside looking in. The dynasty is trembling. Paige's road forward isn't easy. She's battled injuries, doubters, and now comparisons that feel impossible to escape. Caitlin Clark has raised the bar so high it feels almost unachievable. But that doesn't mean Paige can't rise. It means she has to reinvent herself, to find that gear that makes her unforgettable. Her legacy is still unwritten, and maybe, just maybe, the empty arenas will light a fire, because Paige Bueckers isn't done. Geno Auriemma isn't done, but the clock is ticking. And if they don't adapt, UConn's empire won't just stumble. It will collapse before our eyes. But here's the cruel twist of fate. Paige Bueckers doesn't have unlimited time. Injuries have already stolen precious years from her college career, and fans can't shake the worry that her body may not survive the grind of the WNBA. Every hard foul, every awkward landing, every grimace sends shockwaves through social media. This isn't just about wins and losses. It's about fragility, and in a sport that demands both brilliance and durability, Paige is under an unforgiving microscope. Geno knows it, the fans know it, and most painfully, Paige herself knows it too. That's why every game feels heavier. Every dribble isn't just about advancing the ball, it's about rewriting the narrative. Paige can't simply play well. She must electrify. She must captivate. She must create moments that silence doubters and make empty seats impossible. Yet, her natural style resists that demand. She thrives in structure, in rhythm, in making teammates better. But in today's women's game, the spotlight rewards chaos, drama, and spectacle. Paige is fighting against not just her opponents, but the very expectations of what it means to be a star in this new era. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark continues to stretch the gap. Every night, she's breaking records, going viral, selling out arenas, and cementing her place as not just the best player in college basketball, but the most impactful. Her effect on ticket sales and television ratings is undeniable. Even NBA legends speak her name with reverence, calling her the kind of talent who can change the trajectory of women's basketball forever. And every accolade Clark receives feels like another shadow cast over Paige. UConn may be a powerhouse in name, but in narrative, they're being drowned out. The comparisons are unfair, but unavoidable. Paige didn't choose to be the counterpoint to Caitlin Clark, but that's the role she's been given. Every highlight of Clark is stacked against Paige's quiet consistency. Every sellout crowd becomes a reminder of UConn's empty seats. Geno Auriemma may rage against the injustice of it all, but sports are cruel that way. They don't always reward skill alone. They reward magnetism, timing, and cultural resonance. And right now, Paige Bueckers has the skill, but she's still searching for the resonance that will keep her legacy alive. Yet, there is still a sliver of hope. Paige has one weapon Clark doesn't. UConn's history. The banners, the legends, the standard of excellence. If she can tap into that, if she can connect her story to the dynasty she represents, she can reignite the flame. Because while Caitlin Clark may be rewriting the present, Paige has a chance to tie herself to a lineage that spans decades. Geno is betting on it. He knows his program's legacy is Paige's greatest shield, and maybe her greatest opportunity to reclaim the attention that has slipped away. The season ahead is a crossroads. For Paige Bueckers, every game isn't just about stats. It's about identity. Is she the next great UConn legend? capable of carrying the torch of Taurasi and Stewart? Or is she destined to be remembered as the star who got overshadowed by a once-in-a-lifetime force named Caitlin Clark? The answer won't come easy. It will be tested in hostile arenas, in pressure-packed tournaments, in those moments where silence turns into noise and doubt turns into belief. Paige's story isn't finished, but the ending is approaching faster than anyone expected. And so, the question lingers like a storm cloud over every UConn practice, every huddle, every interview. Can Paige Bueckers rise? Can she turn elegance into spectacle, efficiency into excitement, talent into magnetism? Or will she forever be the player who was great, but never transcendent? Geno Auriemma's fury isn't just about the empty seats. It's about the fear of that answer. Because once the clock runs out, once Paige leaves Stores, the truth will be undeniable. And in this era of women's basketball, truth isn't just about who wins. It's about who captivates the world.